Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at mainstream media. Popped up on my YouTube with regards to an interview on 60 Minutes, I think is that 60 Minutes Australia, and then CBS. Both of them, basically a bit of questioning around this. So Camel was on, and this is not about who you're voting for, it's about the way mainstream media is actually influencing such matters and also international opinions possibly. So I cannot actually put for you the answer when Camel was asked in a 60 Minutes interview about netting, because even if I tried to write it down and state it, there was nothing in that response that made sense to me at all. It's actually, I think I could have done a better job, even though I'm not into the whole politics things. But the response was terrible. And what actually then was done, it was edited out and they took, I believe, sentences from other responses to make a response that actually was polished and brushed. So we're going to look at that, and then we're also going to look at pulling cards in terms of, I believe Camel will do a Fox News interview, so I'll discuss that a little bit more. It should be on Wednesday in the US, I believe. So doing my research, I found that also Duck had done a tweet or on Facebook this post. 60 Minutes is a major part of the news organization of CBS, which has just created the greatest fraud in broadcast history. CBS should lose its license and should be bid out to the highest bidder, as should all other broadcast licenses, because they are just as corrupt as CBS, or maybe even worse. It's interesting why I paused there, because I was thinking of I'm doing a reading on Elon Musk, or I should say I plan to, and one of the things I was going to say is that he should purchase a TV channel or create a new TV channel, because I think things are going to change, but are they so quite yet? Now, I've done a reading on mainstream media, and my readings also, as well as comments that are validating and then make me go back to, for example, the debates where I said someone's been silenced, is very biased, and this is very much an example as what we say is corruption, as fraud. So why should they not be held accountable? If this was the other party, would they? Then we have Juju Capital, which is, I believe, is like I pulled it up. Hang on a sec. So you should be proud. I've done some research for this one. So they cover like markets, the economy, and unbiased politics. I believe they are kind of like posts and that sort of stuff. So it says 60 Minutes cut Camel's nonsense answer on is and replaced it with a completely separate sentence. She said earlier in the interview, mixing and matching questions and answers. This is not journalism, this is fraud. Now, it just goes to show, can we trust mainstream media? It's very much got its own agenda. And here we can see it very much aligning with one side. So we're going to look into why would CBS do that. I think I kind of know. And then the Fox News interview coming up. Here I noticed I wanted to look at something. I know it's not clear, but basically in 2018, Biden had issued this on the White House, which is a notice of continuation of national emergency with the respect basically of foreign interference in the US elections. Yet, what is happening? It was done in 2018, signed in 2021. So like I said in the intro, the 45th DT Duck was not very happy. I believe he tagged some media channels. The 60 Minutes original answer must have been leaked. And whether you are a Harris, a Camel, or a Duck fan or no fan, this is important. It doesn't matter if you're in the US or abroad. And that's why I always say, doesn't always rely on the title. So for example, yesterday, I think the reading I did like a day or two prior, but yesterday's reading was on the first sign of like when Israel attacked the peacemakers, and like in there was like a download of a sovereign, a monarch, a female, possibly in Europe, so wherever we have monarchs, could perish. And then also the inclusion of karma coming back around for Jared Kushner for something that he's done, or to a journalist. Karma, exposure, something. So sometimes give things a go. I can't always put stuff in the title. I try to make it the main. But I want to see here, is mainstream media ever going to change? I do think that there is a form of apology that should be warranted. And it's interesting, a subscriber felt that international influence is happening on the UK and has happened in terms of the elections. And we see that that must have happened in the past in the US, but nothing is being said right now. Now, when I was thinking of doing this as I was driving, I was going to do it and get it out, like no rush to get it out, like the tech side done. And then when it came up on my feed that Harris has a Fox News interview coming up, I actually clicked on it and it said she's going to be Wednesday US. And so I don't know if I didn't get here the time, so it might be Wednesday evening GMT time. It could be in the morning Thursday. I'm not quite sure. And I thought, let me just get it out prior if I can. So I'm actually recording this on the 15th of October, and I'm going to try and get it out for the evening. Okay, I always post this stuff in the evening, but I might start mixing it up because I've done this before. What time do you prefer the readings? It seems to have been any time, but if anything more in the evening. And at the moment it really matters to me because of the channel being very stalled. And the topics we discuss are sensitive, and that's why I can't always do some of the things I want to say in them. And that's where I count on the kind of Patreon and members. And so, but with your help, it doesn't shadow ban some of those things. And I think it's important to have a neutral voice. Like when I do the political readings, obviously any last reading I've done, suddenly my feed turns into that. Apart from a few months ago, it was like full of pets that had been tortured, or like a kitten out on the road with fleas, or something that was painted, and just like how they rescue. And I couldn't stand it. I was like, do not recommend, do not recommend. I didn't recommend. I was like, I'm not even spoken about pets. So yeah, I wonder, the other thing that's just come to me is, if anyone's seen the Hurricane Helene and Milton, has anything come out about the amount of recording and monitoring that was being done on the hurricane as it was coming, as it was progressing, as it was changing, as it arrived? Because I remember in that reading, I kept getting the surveillance. The surveillance shows you that it's not fully natural the way that they're monitoring it. And I think I mentioned about NASA. Anyway, let's get back to this reading. So we should be concerned about that, right? You know, mainstream media is what a lot of people seem to believe in. But I mean, if you look at any of the stuff, you can see reporters, ex-policemen, ex-investigators, whatever it is, on news channels. And it's very biased. And it seems like there is direct influence some way for voters to go in a certain direction, okay? From comments I get on my readings, good comments, you know, some validating comments, and I see it in the reading, so it's not very fair. And the thing with this is a lot of people believe the news, especially the older generation. It's kind of like, what is it, the 2 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, you know, those prime time where there's the news updates, where they follow it and they believe it. It's like kind of like the, when there's two countries at war, you find the Western region will maybe show you what they want to show you in terms of, like, for example, let's say one side took 5 hostages, the other side took 5 or 4, or even 3. What they will show you is the country that they want to show. So even if that country's only had 3 hostages, the other ones had 5 taken, they'll show you 3 as if there's 0 on this side. So it's very important, and I don't think it's right. So let's see how peed off Trump was, because I dare say he's very fully much aware of what is happening for a long time. And so was he truly peed off? Like, I'm so sick of this. Or was he like, oh, here we go again. I'm going to expose it. I'm going to tweet, and then I'm going to, he's not allowed to go golf, I don't think, anymore. So what was he going to do? Then I'm just going to listen to some jazzy music. Chill out a little bit. I don't know, like, so he would have been peed off, but then he's just not ruminated about it. Or was he really peed off because things are ramping up? The other thing I wanted to say, it's very obvious people that either broadcast, read, whatever on stuff, that they are for one side against the other. I think it's difficult to find someone who's neutral. I am neutral. I don't mean that in a way to, I do think strongly there's one candidate for international affairs that will be listened to. I've voiced that opinion, and from what I see in my comments, that candidate, they're hoping that monies and finances for American citizens will improve if that candidate comes into presidential power, because it seems like there's been a loss. So that's that. The other thing, before I forget, what I was thinking when I was driving, I went off on a different channeling through the messages that are coming to me. When I think of Biden, he's kind of like floating in the ether, and he's kind of like in a peaceful, happy place. So even if he said something and someone questioned it, or said, or, you know, kind of take the Michael out of him, it's like he would laugh. Like he's in this kind of, he's like on this pink cloud floating by, smiling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's doing anything in his role, but that's the way I see him. Okay, so show me, was Trump really pissed off? How was he feeling about this CBS 60 Minutes with, by the way, that answer is terrible. I am going to link it in the description box. I did want to add it in. I didn't understand anything. I did not understand anything. The response that was giving as well, that was better, was very simple. Like, I could have put that together, but it was polished. It was something to show, you know, we're going to take a stance without saying anything else. Very, very good answer, and very just simple. I don't know what on earth, okay, let's see how was Trump feeling about it? How was he really feeling? See, that's him not very happy. And that's Melania in the back there. And he's kind of like, I'm so sick of this crap. I'm going to play golf, but then he's not allowed to play golf. He just sees it as always happening. It's something that's not new. It's of the past, you know. It's, he doesn't feel happy about it. It does get to him. but it's kind of like he might be feeling really, really motivated, and then it gets to him, and then he feels like, okay, I've got to find my spark, my motivation again, and move on from this. Yeah, see, find my spark again, find my hope again, and move on from this. These are too many cards, so I'm going to put them back. So he didn't easily brush it off. It did turn his emotion a bit. Because isn't everything about Duck, about his corruption, about his court cases? Well, this is similar, isn't it, to corruption? I'll take these two because it's only two, Hanged Man and Six of Swords. He just took time out. He was like, I need some time out. He went into, this is why I said about golf, you think I'm joking, I am joking, but like into an area of space where he's in his own space. And obviously he might have a garden with a little mini golf course. I don't know. He's gone into, he decided just to take some time out to be alone, to sit in peace a little bit while he had some mental clarity, and he decided, let me tweet and tag them all. So he has tagged people, right? Because I can't see when I was researching, how did Trump, he did, and remember how I said he was feeling extremely motivated, but then it brought him down. Can you see? And he, this is where the mental clarity came through. Interesting, I'm losing my voice. And he decided to tweet. I feel like he feels like he's being silenced in terms of truth. And he's tagged people. He's done it on purpose. Empress shows up, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, it seems like maybe Melania came to him and was like, you know, well, this is what I would say to him, right? This won't be happening to you if you're not a strong candidate. And this is why also, like, for example, you know, in my past readings, I said, if Duck were to present himself in an interview how Camel does, it would be an outrage of news worldwide. But they're not comparing Camel with Duck, because Duck is a different level, right? So it's kind of like, what can they get at him? And that is through the justice, the corruption, just keep spitting that back out. And then the playing dynamics, obviously, of silencing, the bias dynamics. We know that, well, I did that reading and then I had comments and I saw a few clips that JD Vance did an excellent job in that VP debate. And so I think this is where I'm going to go into Harris and her Fox News choice to do that interview. But yeah, so it's kind of like, recognize that if you're not the top threat, not just a little threat, if you're a top threat, you're not going to be facing all this. So get your act together again and be the King of Wands, right? A lot of feminine energy coming up. This came through in the reading yesterday and I keep getting it. There's a feminine energy that is going to come up. I don't know. She's going to come up so powerful. I got it in the reading yesterday. And she's just come through to me again. Okay, so let me put these back. Let's see, does he plan to try and tweet a bit more or get others involved or something? Queen of Swords wants to come out. Now these could have been upright. I grabbed them, they were in reverse. He does want to expose, okay? He does want to expose manipulation. He wants to expose the secrets. And he wants to expose a lot of things that are happening to sway votes in a certain direction when they are not moving in the direction that either people want, or there is a lack of movement in one particular direction and manipulation. He definitely wants to expose that, okay? There's the exposure of the movement, the manipulation. He's definitely standing on his sword of truth. She can be a bit bitter, by the way. This one, this Queen of Swords. All right. So now can we take a look at, will this actually gear up some kind of action taken towards them, mainstream media moving, changing? So firstly, will any action be taken towards them? I get an answer no, to be honest. Let's see what the cards say. What can you tell us? I only want 3 cards. See that Empress? See? There's going to be a powerful woman that rises somehow. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Look, there's continuing, and told to look at the bottom of the deck. There's a continuity of, you know, just, you know, I get a no. And the question was, will they be held accountable? And no, there's still going to be hidden deceit and lies, even though there is more exposure coming in. I feel like a woman is going to speak on some of the stuff that's happening, either backing duck up. It's interesting, we've got swan. I was going to say a duck, but they're actually swans, aren't they? Quick, quick, quick. And look, some barley. Okay, so I do think that there will be a woman who speaks up about this, but I don't see anything changing in the near future. And the advice is to keep your cards close to you. The advice is, this is like certain individuals being really targeted by media, and not, yeah, just it's just telling me there's certain individuals that are going to continue to be targeted by media, and they will feel the kind of hit, or I don't want to say the negative impact it will have, that what they're doing to them. But those people are going to try to, whoever gets targeted are going to have the reinsurance either by their loved ones or people. If, for example, it's 2 people that work in the same, I don't know why I'm getting Congress here, then they will kind of support each other. And this reminds me of the Strength card of trying to be strong, okay? So what was the second question is, will they ever, can you see the amount of major arcanas? Look, it's unbelievable. The major arcanas I keep splitting the deck and there's a major arcana. Oh my God. Can you see? I don't think it's going to happen now. Wow. This is so powerful. Okay, so now let's see how will they change? I think it might take a few years, to be honest, because there's always a selling point with this to change. I don't know if they're going to benefit anything, but will they change? Will it change yet? Will this change, or will it change in the near future or at any point? Will this change yet? Wheel of Fortune, there is a change coming. When I was picking this up, I felt like it needed to be in reverse, okay? I think it will change, but it's going to take some time, all right? But I put it upright, but I do think that it will take some time to change. Basically, here we've got, there is going to be a change, but it's going to take time. It's not when you want it that it comes through, okay? So that's what I feel we've got with regards to the answers here. we're going to continue to pull. There is definitely a need, if we look at this on a personal level, there's a need for us to reevaluate how we see social media. That's really important. When I look at these in reverse or upright, how do you see social media? Reevaluate your relationship with it. And social, not social, interesting, I said social media, I meant mainstream media. So on a personal level, some of you are on social media too much, okay? And you need to reevaluate your relationship. Here we're talking about mainstream media. So we do need to reevaluate how much trust we are putting in them, okay? How much are we dedicating to what we listen to, what we then follow with regards to mainstream media, said it right, okay? And they will be feeling the need, the reason they're doing this, and even in the future, whether they stop or not, there's a pressure on mainstream media to appear successful. I think there's a lot of, something I wanted to say, I think there's going to be a lot of smaller broadcasting news channels as opposed to, you know, whether it's the music industry or the new or the TV, there's always those big ones that have then small channels like Fox News. Fox is originally an entertainment channel. Does that mean anything in terms of the Camel interview? Probably no, but it's a good point to keep in mind for a reason. And I think some of you are probably going in some direction. Yeah, because it's going to be entertaining. I didn't quite mean it that way, but it's come to me, right? But they are regarded, their news segment is regarded, their news channel is regarded as a news channel as well known. So we need just to be careful because there isn't a need for them to appear successful. Will they change? So we see a change in the future. This is, it came out, I picked it up and I felt like it should be reversed before I saw it. So will they change in the near future? We get a positive outcome in the near future. I do think it'll take time. Yep, here, take time. There is going to be a lot of monitoring. I feel like some of them are going to try and change in terms of being similar to social media. So maybe a more open freedom of speech approach as opposed to, this is a download, a strategized transcript. That is just a total download that's come to me. Split the deck, strength card, okay? So it could come through one of the years in Leo season. I think we could see, you know, little tiny hints of changes, either new channels coming up that mix a bit of freedom of speech. I was going to do a reading, do we really have freedom of speech? Because I think at one stage we felt we were heading there, but I am not sure we are heading there. I mean, just look at the videos where you do sensitive stuff. Your comments go missing. You can't go out into the algorithm unless you guys help it, but it won't be necessarily promoted. So in 8 months, we might see something that looks a little bit like a change. I can't see this happening on a bigger change where we can really see it. I'd say probably it's going to be a few years, right? It's going to be a few years. But this 8 month could be, like I said, a new channel, something new that comes up. Now, Camel has decided to do this Fox News interview. I don't know if they approached her, she approached, whatever. Could it be a good check? Is it a good move? I think so, on one basis. If Camel gets the script of what she will be asked exactly, she can prep. I think she can come across very well. If she doesn't, and it's just like, we're going to probably discuss this, she can still prep. How successful, I don't know. And they always do give them hints. But if it was totally blind, I have not seen one interview where it's been great success, if you allow me to say that. And again, I'm neutral. I'm talking about, even if it was a friend of mine, I'd be like, listen, you need to take, and I said it in, can you remember how I said if she does become, she needs some public speaking, some coaching around the delivery. I said it in my very first reading, even before I'd seen her speak. And I do believe she will get that. And if she remains, she's going to remain in some time where she does speak on things, right? So I do think she should get that, because this is a bit crazy. Now, so it will be a good move because of like the 60 minutes, the VP debate. So maybe they're feeling pressure to try and win back some stance, some possible people questioning, is this the right move? I would say right now you're probably going to get more people that are for the Blues coming up with Duck's dirty laundry being put out even further. That could even include maybe psychics, readers, pulling up the criminal investigation cards or stuff like that, or what's hidden in this one's closet, what's hidden in that one's closet, and maybe what you hear on one side is heavier than the other. You know, it's just kind of like a pulling of forces now as tension increases. We're getting very close. So how does she feel ahead of this interview? How does she feel? We've got the Ten of Cups, we've got the Nine of Swords, we've got the Hierophant, we've got the, she's definitely worried about the communication she delivers. For some reason, she's worried that Duck is going to come back and say something post the interview. It's very interesting. She is hoping for that outcome. She's hoping to come across as, you know, I don't want to say people's person, but very connected to the public, to the citizens, all right? But she does have anxiety and fear. It seems like she might not sleep Tuesday night. She is brushing up on her communication. She is worried about two things. She's worried about the red side and Trump in particular coming out and saying something like, you know, mocking, taking the mickey out of her, whether she performs good or not. She's worried about that. And then there's something about the higher ups, so whether this is the Congress, whatever it is, they're being a bit rigid in terms of this. So I don't know if they're saying, if they've given her a bit of a rigid message, that there's something around that. And I might just pull a clarification card in terms of them. They seem to be, I feel like they're being overly pragmatic and rigid. Like, they might be talking to her that there's kind of like a desire to control when it needs to be a bit more tempered on whatever they're saying to her. How is she feeling? I think I've channeled what I wanted to, so I'm not going to pull a clarification. How is she feeling? Temperance, see the moderation, being a bit more patient, easier going with her. How is she feeling? And she needs to be in that space as well. Patience, again, look, patience. Patience and patience. So maybe there is a bit of a heavy feel. Something about Biden here. He's supporting her. And what I mean by that, you might be like, well, we know he's picked her. Yes, but in terms of what she's getting here, he's supporting her. He's grounding her. He's being patient with her. He's like providing her that little bit of, you can do this, a little bit of love and compassion. For her, she's kind of like feeling every minute, every hour right now, and just wants to get the interview done. She wants to deliver her message. Her message, she's going to come across, as long as she's aware of things that's coming up, she's coming across quite noble, and she's ready for it. As much as her feeling the countdown for it, she's ready for it. She's going to be discussing, there's going to be something coming up about a longer term plan, so not only the immediate plan here. Let's see what she thinks about mainstream media as a whole. No, hang on, let's just see something. What could be the outcome? Yep, presents really well. Okay, again, probably a couple of questions where I don't know if you're going to see it, but she might not feel like she is the person. It's interesting, not that she's not, she's got to be the person to answer. But for example, let's say you go for an exam, okay, and there's an exam level 1, 2, and 3, and you're at level 2, but suddenly you find yourself in exam level 3's questions. There's gonna be a little bit of that, but as long as she's gonna come across patient, okay, she's not gonna be like, get it over and done with. No, she's gonna be calm, collected, and she's gonna have very much the focus. I think she's gonna have something in her mind that reminds her to remain focused. So you're gonna find her that she listens to whoever's interviewing her. You can see her listening to it, and then she'll respond. There's a couple of questions here that could be challenging for her. And there's definitely things around finance that are going to be raised in terms of this. Instead of seeing how she sees mainstream media, let's see how Biden does at this moment in time. Because he wrote that thing, the White House, right? So let's see how he feels about mainstream media right now. King of Pentacles. He feels that, you know, you can sway mainstream media. It seems like he feels that if you're on one side, if they're on your bad side, you've had it, okay? It's not a good outcome. They can really kind of continue to come for you, really maybe put people to, you know, totally lose their credibility, and there's a word I'm looking for, there's a specific word, I forgot it, but it's kind of like demolish your image if they want to. He does believe that they can be bought, like you can have buy-in, into how and what they cover, what they do, how they present it. There's monies happening. He sees that. Sword of Truth. I feel like this is Spirit saying, yes, you're speaking truth here. At the moment, he sees interest and go to social media, mainstream media. He sees like at the moment it's working in their favor. Temperance card again. One more. He sees that it's working in their favor until it's not, and then one has to hope for the turnaround. There's something about it. He's happy with it obviously working in their favor, but I feel like on a personal level, for him personally, he's not very happy on the way he's being shown in mainstream media. So maybe he goes and does, let's say he goes and speaks on something, and they might put a wobbly Biden steps off his plane to give the speak on Hurricane, let's say Milton. I don't think he's spoken on Helene. I don't think he's really spoken. But if anything, you know, I said that there'd be more, if anything, more speaking or more support for Milton. So let's just say that. Or he's made a bizarre comment about I don't know, Harris or Hurricane Milton. And so, how bizarre or something. So he thinks that in some way he's happy with it. I think it's in terms of the winnings for elections. But on his personal front, he is not so happy with it. Okay. He still has hope that things can be portrayed in a better light. I want to get one more card. The thing is, I think I saw the bottom of the card, eight of wands. Yeah, in terms of the communication. So I'm going to split the deck, and you know, the lies, the secrecy. He has hope on where there are lies and secrecy, that it's not gonna be on them, basically. I'm trying to remember why I wanted to pull two more cards, because of the hope he has. I think he's very much aware on the way media is working. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do like, subscribe. We have covered Fox News, we've covered mainstream media, we have covered 60 Minutes and the CBS thing, we've covered Dark. And I need to think of a title that can combine all that, which I can't always. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do like, subscribe. As always, I appreciate those of you that do support with your comments and your likes. It helps. And should you want to, if you're new and not subscribed, it helps if you do subscribe. It's up to you if you enjoy the content. A lot of people are continuously returning viewers but not subscribed. And I look forward to your comments. You can also join Patreon memberships. You can buy me a coffee. Everything you always want is always in the description box. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.